Welcome back, everybody. This is your three-man booth. I'm Dan Salem with Phil and Bud. There's a lot of sports news, not a lot of NFL news. What's up, guys?
Well, as you can see, it's stopped raining here in the Northeast for the first time in a couple of days. So that's a nice little pick-me-up.
Oh, very good. Yes, we have June gloom out in LA, at least on the west side. So it's not particularly sunny this month, but no rain.
Well, so I know it's not where you are because this was in Northern California, but the U.S. Open was just overcast the entire weekend there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is here.
Yeah.
But
I was saying if I was going to go to the U.S. Open and I had to sit there in winter coats and a hat, I don't know if I'd enjoy it that much.
At Pebble Beach, you would.
But you're all bundled up. I don't know. I want to be in shorts and a golf shirt, like I will be this year or this week when we got the Travelers Championship in Hartford.
So they're bundled up, but it's probably 60. So it's relative. Maybe it's 60.
So is that just the wind coming off the ocean?
Yeah, because it's chilly. So like the ocean breeze and it's only 65 degrees and there's no sun. So then you feel cold, but it's not really cold.
It's a tough life, huh?
I know. I mean, I was at the beach a week ago and like it was 75 and sunny, but the breeze was so strong that I wore a hoodie by the end of the day because it was cold.
Oh, you're not getting any sympathy from us. I'll tell you that.
No, I'm not looking for it. Just sharing.
So we got some big Jets news. We got Josh McCown retiring. I know Bud was celebrating his retirement yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a surprise. I didn't think so, but.
No, it wasn't really much of a story, though. It's just the only thing that kind of happened yesterday.
Right. I mean, maybe it's disappointing if you wished he would come back and continue to coach Darnold, but it wasn't going to happen. So
not with this coaching staff.
No, I mean, there's no room. They already got like 5 quarterbacks, too, on the roster. So,
but Trevor Siemian is not really impressing people from what I've been reading. So,
no.
I mean, I don't know what their plan B is. I mean, he wasn't really impressing people when he was in Denver either. So,
was he seriously like the number one for the backup? Because don't they have Davis Webb and they got a couple other guys too? But
no, he's the main backup, at least in the depth charts that I saw on ESPN.
Yeah, I could easily see that changing by September 1st.
So if God forbid Darnold goes down, you guys are screwed.
We'll get the number 1 pick.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about for backup quarterback wise.
Right. I mean, you could say that about a lot of football teams. I don't know who backup in New England is this season either, but
yeah, that is a true statement.
I think isn't it Julian Edelman?
Yeah, it might be.
They managed to never be screwed when that has happened in the past, but
nope.
Yeah.
No, they turn their backups into first-round picks, in future trades is what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them.
Smart.
But yeah, it's so all the everyone's on vacation now. So this is, I think it's a week or 2 weeks where everyone goes away from the team. So there's nobody at any of the facilities that they literally tell everyone to go away.
Right.
The next week or so
and
to get their minds clear and all before they come back for real training camp.
Right, and that doesn't start till like July 24th or something like that.
Yeah, third week of July.
So what's your takeaway on the Daniel Jones, Eli Manning competition? Because all we've heard are platitudes out of basically every NFL camp. Everyone's great. Everyone looks wonderful.
He's a big dude.
He literally looks. I was looking at pictures, and I know they say he looks like Eli. He looks just like Eli Manning.
He is a.
Have you seen him live? You've seen him live already?
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Oh, did he come play golf with Eli? Are they that close? Are they buddies?
Well, we really should be disclosing that information, but yes.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure
He's a big dude. He's a big dude.
Yeah, just saying
big dude during the season. Is that the deal?
But to your question, he looks. There's a couple articles I read in the Post or the Daily News, whatever it was, is that Eli is the starter, but Daniel Jones is competing to technically start week 1, which isn't going to happen anyway. But I guess it's better than them saying, well, he's still a project. We're not sure what we're going to do with him yet. Apparently he can throw the ball. He's got a strong arm, but again, you don't hear a lot of negative talk in the first, week of mini camps here.
No, but so the sports media was ripping the Giants after they picked them at 6. But are they still on their team's case, or are they really like done a 180?
Well, if you ask the fans, if you ask the fans at Yankee Stadium yesterday, they booed him.
Right, I did see that.
Yeah. These are the same phony fans that the first touchdown he throws will be cheering him. So come on, I can't stand that. It's so irritating. It's the Porzingis thing all over again. Everyone's booing and yelling and crying, and then he starts hitting some threes, and everyone's like, "Oh, Porzingis is the greatest thing ever." It bothers me.
And then
I know it happens everywhere. It really irritates me. But anyway.
So if we're going to try to read between the lines, because that's what we're not paid to do, right? So the Giants are basically saying they would like him to start by October 1st. I mean, if he's angling for week 1, I mean, no one.
The quote from Pat Shurmur was, Eli's getting ready to start the season, and Daniel Jones is getting ready to play week 1. So take that for what it's worth.
Well, every player is getting ready to start the season.
That was the point. He wasn't making the case like, hey, there's a competition. That's what you'll hear. But let's be honest, there's no open competition at the moment.
But he didn't say that Daniel Jones is getting ready to start the season.
No, right, correct. He basically said he's getting ready to play like he's getting ready to play week 1. So when God forbid Eli goes down, he'll be ready to go. It's the way
He's not going to play. I mean, let's.
Yeah, no, I know. I agree.
I was just trying to analyze the word choice.
It was coach speak.
Because his choice of words is very interesting. So, like, they're coaching him like they want him to be the starter week 1. Basically.
Well, yeah, because again, if Eli turns an ankle in the preseason, he's got to be ready to go.
Well, no, but that's a given. My point was, sometimes you draft a quarterback and you plan to sit him on the bench for a season. But this implies they have no desire to do that unless they are required to because he's not ready.
Well, I mean, you know the way that the draft works now. I mean, if you draft the quarterback in the first round, usually in the top 10, top 15, that guy, if he's sitting, he's only sitting for a couple of weeks and then he's playing. I mean, it's
And we've talked about it. It all depends on the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. If the Giants are 4-1, he's not seeing the field. If they're 1-4, you'll see him.
See, I disagree with you because of what Bud said and because of what the coach is saying.
Well, look at Baker Mayfield.
Every first round quarterback last year saw the field in the beginning of the season.
Right, but if Tyrod Taylor wasn't throwing 5 interceptions a game, Baker Mayfield wasn't going to see the field.
He was absolutely going to see the field by the middle of the season, though. He was ready.
Listen, if Tyrod Taylor came out and played halfway decent against the Jets that night, you wouldn't have seen Baker Mayfield.
That's what I'm saying.
Not yet, but they were the hook was basically as soon as Tyrod has a bad first half, Mayfield's coming in. So it
that could be true.
when. So as soon as Eli's got a bad first half, Jones is coming in. It's the same hook.
I don't know if I agree with that yet. It may have to take a game or two.
It's not like the Giants have playoff aspirations. They are coming off of 2 bottom-out years. This is their rebuild with their quarterback rookie year. If they skip his on-field performance in this year, then it's like he's a rookie next year, and that sets them back a full season. And they lose a whole other year of Barkley at his tip-top shape. It behooves them to get him on the field immediately so he gets his rookie jitters out of the way. I think that's why these guys are starting so quickly.
In a perfect world, and as history has shown, you're right. I feel like this is the weird exception at the moment. This can all change in 4
It might be. I'm just wondering, like, we'll see the headlines over the next month or so, right? Whether they're mentally preparing Eli to get the boot. Like, he's got to put on a happy face. It's not going to end well for Eli Manning, no matter what happens. But
I mean, I want him to go out on top after Super Bowl 53, but that's a pipe dream.
You really want Eli to play so well that your new quarterback has to stay on the bench?
Does it mean we're making the playoffs? Then absolutely, 100%.
That's interesting.
100%. How could you? I mean, yes. To answer your question, yes.
Okay. I've never been attached to a player that much, but I guess they're a Jets fan, so.
Well, I mean, again, if he's playing well, why are we going to upset the apple cart? If they're playing and winning games, there's no reason to make a change. I don't care who's sitting on the bench.
Listen, they were not for nothing. They were playing halfway decent when Kurt Warner was the quarterback, and they benched him for Eli.
Yeah, no, I know. You're right, and that's exactly what happened.
To Dan's point, like, if you're going to play this guy, and you drafted him at 6, the franchise has done it before.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait. And Dan's probably right. Maybe October. I know historically a lot of teams wait till the bye week to kind of make that switch. And I can't remember off the top of my head where their bye week is. I want to say it's somewhere in the middle. Maybe it's a little later, but I know that's kind of the ideal spot to do and make a quarterback change is that bye week. If you're going to make one.
We all agree September football is a bunch of hogwash. Like, the record means nothing. It's like preseason football, so you can't really get a sense of a team. Even if the Giants are 4-1 after September or whatever, 3-1, it doesn't mean anything that they're going to be any good.
You're right.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, it is. And the first week of minicamp, mandatory minicamp, whatever you want to call it, at least he's not getting roasted by the New York media. This guy can't throw the ball. Giants made a mistake at 6. Throw out whatever headline you want to. It's positive. It's not like they're raking him over the coals like they did on draft night. So to me, that's a positive in a good direction.
I don't think they were raking the player over the coals. They were raking the franchise over the coals. I mean, there's a difference.
Well,
but if he turns out to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback, then they all have to eat their words, right?
Well, they were only giving him shit because it was number 6. If it was anything after 10, they wouldn't have given him. They wouldn't have cared. It was
right. I mean, I'm saying he has to play and prove that they made the right decision, and that's going to take obviously that'll be years down the road.
Well, I mean, I feel like every I guess that's not true. 3 out of the 4 first-round quarterbacks last year proved that they were worth taking. Josh Rosen didn't, and they booted him. So.
How about that picture? How about that picture I sent you guys today? Josh
Rosen, real headline?
Quarter.
Was that a real
headline? NFL Network.
Oh, the stuff you read in the office.
It was from David Johnson, right?
I don't know. I don't have my phone with me, but it was from NFL Network. Someone's quote said, "I think Josh Rosen might be the best something along the lines of he might be the best quarterback in the league in a year or so."
Oh, in a year or so. Okay.
Well,
because I was gonna say the Dolphins are tanking this season. Regardless of how well Rosen plays, they're tanking the season. They're going to have a top 5 pick next year. I'd bet a lot of money on that because they're literally like they stripped it all down. So maybe if he earns his starting spot in a couple of years, he'll have a good team behind him. But he's got to survive. That's just the only thing you read now at times.
Unfortunately, we're at the period of until July, basically after the 4th of July, and there's going to be really nothing going on unless somebody gets arrested or someone gets popped for domestic violence. It's all going to be bad news unless something, until training camps open up.
Well, there's been a lot of movement with tight ends. Did you notice that over the last few weeks? Patriots dropping guys.
Patriots dropped Seferian-Jenkins on the first day of camp, the voluntary camp, and then Rudolph just signed a 4-year extension with Minnesota.
We were talking about that a couple of weeks ago. That was
so that ended up they ended up playing nice in that one, I guess. That one didn't blow up at all. Unfortunately, that would have been fun to talk about.
You were real curious where they were going to find the money. I don't know where they got it, but
I didn't really look into much of the deal to see what it was or how much money is deferred or how much money he's got. I didn't really read into it, but just the fact that he signed it, I was like, okay, that controversy is over now. It wasn't really controversy.
So I love reading those 5 headlines on ESPN, like the 5 little. They don't update that frequently on the NFL side this time of year, but there's been all these no-name tight ends switching teams too. That I'm like, drop here, add here, and I don't understand. Like maybe they're just looking for extra blockers, but it seems very odd, all these tight ends moving around. I was surprised by the Seferian-Jenkins because he was halfway decent with the Jets. Maybe he's came in overweight or something, but it's like an odd position to me. I don't know. I guess maybe that's just me. I don't think I read much else. I read about the baloney about the Jets and the Le'Veon Bell effect, but that's kind of a given.
What do you think of Greg Williams, his coaching tactics about he's been all over Jamal Adams and like telling him he's no good and I've coached better players than you and all this other stuff. I mean, I personally like it.
I really like it too. And I think Jamal's kind of liking it too because he came in as this big dog and he's getting knocked down a couple of pegs. I also like that Williams is challenging the offense in like meaningless practices more or less. Like
right.
Really pushing them, like trying to beat them every single down and like yelling in their faces. That's fun. I mean, that's what I remember from football is the people yelling at each other, not the quiet coach who stood there politely and said, "Good job." So,
what do you think about them hiring Douglas as the GM? I don't think we talked about that.
oh no, I'm torn.
I like it a lot. Did you listen to his press conference?
I read
the transcript.
The transcript, the highlights. Yeah, I didn't hear.
No, I mean he said all the right things.
Yeah.
It is a world of a difference from what Maccagnan was, and I think that if people buy into his philosophy and he can talk the talk, I mean, I think he's got some good ideas. I mean, he obviously has some pedigree with the Eagles and stuff like that, and bringing championships. And he was in Baltimore before that, and obviously Baltimore has been a level of consistency in the AFC North for a long time now. So. I'm not thinking this team is going to win a Super Bowl by no stretch, but if they can be just competitive, I think that would be a world better than what they have been the last 3 or 4 years.
Well, he said things that I was like, yes, not this. We're going to go to the playoffs. Like there was always every other GM for the last 4 or 5 of them hasn't been that many years, but they've always said the traditional thing you're supposed to say. I mean, I figured he would get hired because he's been Adam Gase's friend for their entire coaching careers, both of them. And so if you can actually pair that up, that's a perfect storm for these two guys. Now, whether or not they're successful or not, this is their ideal scenario to work together like this. I'm sure they've been joking about it over drinks for years. Well, imagine if I'm the coach and you're the GM one day I don't know if this was their first choice team, but I'm excited. He's got a great track record with talent, and he really likes the offensive and defensive line. And I've been saying this for years that the Jets have just been ignoring it. And I can't figure out why, because it's why the Patriots keep winning. It's why teams are successful. So if he can turn that around. The Jets haven't
done anything with their offensive line since they drafted DeBrickashaw and Nick Mangold. And what was that, 2005, 2006?
It's been too long.
It's been way too long, right? And I arguably probably one of the better 2 offensive lines they've ever had, right? So they've done nothing in the draft to do that. And if he's going to be the guy that's going to build that, and I mean that's the foundation. I mean you just signed arguably the best running back in the league. You have what you like to think is your franchise quarterback. Let's build his protection, right? That's why you got Le'Veon Bell, so you can create a little bit more schemes out of the backfield. That's why you got Crowder. These are things that you try to do, but if you can't protect him, it's all crap.
Yeah. Well, and I think he brings this calm to the team that these guys are friends. Like when you get to work with your friends, there's something more fun about all of it. Now I know on the defensive side, it's not quite the same with Vitt and Williams were kind of at odds in the past, but I like the direction this team is headed. I knew that firing of Maccagnan was going to happen at some point, and so obviously it looked bad when it went down. We didn't really talk about how the Texans one-upped them and fired their guy, but they had to let him go because I think he got accused of some misconduct of some sort. I don't know. I don't know the details, but I'm excited. The Le'Veon Bell is elevating everybody on the team to be better. That's all I've been reading about them too.
Well, I mean, he's got to actually show up. I mean, he only showed up for a couple of days. So let's see what happens in July.
But he brings a lot of pedigree to the team that had none. So it's good. It's a good look. Phil, unless you got any more football comments, Bud, you mentioned Super Bowl, and I think that's a great transition to the NBA and NHL, who both just had champions out of the blue. I mean, the St. Louis Blues were the worst team in the NHL for the first couple months, and then won the Stanley Cup, and then the NBA had a new champion. I'm thrilled that the Warriors dynasty went down. I want to talk NBA a little bit. I know Nick. I want to hear about the Knicks. I want to hear about the Knicks.
I'm chomping at the bit over here. I'm chomping. Listen, so do you put an asterisk on the Toronto championship? Because let's be honest, if Durant plays and Klay Thompson doesn't get hurt, there's no chance Golden State loses that series.
See, I completely disagree.
No way.
Because I underestimated Kawhi Leonard.
If Durant and Klay were both healthy and played the full series, there's no doubt in my mind Golden State wins that series. Maybe in 5.
Phil, you can't do that. I mean, you got to play whoever's playing.
No, I agree. I'm just saying hypothetically, if they had both played,
So
yes, you're the benefit of injuries.
a 100% Durant obviously changes things, but Toronto dominated them. And so I got to at least say it would have been a close series through 7. I don't know who would have won. I mean, I underestimated Kawhi and the Raptors seriously.
Well, it almost went 7. If Curry makes that shot at the end, that would have went 7 anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, they shouldn't have won Game 5. So like that was a miracle that Durant threw his career away for nothing.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, Phil, because I don't watch a ton of basketball, but Golden State had the lead in all those games that they lost, right?
I mean, at some point, it wasn't huge. They didn't have like double-digit leads. No,
Yeah.
they actually had to come back for a win.
But how many times during the regular season did they lose the lead when they had it? Not many.
I mean, but listen, the regular season in the NBA is worthless because most of these teams, like the Warriors stuff, they don't even really put out their best effort.
So if you ask one of my friends who's a big NBA conspiracy guy, that the refs were against the Raptors the entire series, and for them to actually overcome the referees, who he always considers a third team on the floor, he considers the referees the third team, and they decide who they want to win. Now he's a total conspiracy guy, but
yeah,
I think the fouls were disproportionately in Golden State's favor for Game 5 and 6. So I was happy Toronto bucked the trend and Toronto toppled the dynasty. But you've been on the Knicks for wanting to sign Durant for months now. And
they're still going to. Well, let me back up. They're still going to offer him.
He's not going to play next
season. And they have to.
He's not going to play next season. And he can opt in to stay one more year with Golden State and just get paid on their bench.
Correct. So really that begs the question. Does New York throw $40 million away because he's not going to play? Or if he opts into Golden State for one more year, he gets paid $31 million, gets paid by Golden State, and then they can just sign him next summer.
Yeah, it's
going to be, him going down put a huge monkey wrench in this entire offseason because everybody thought everyone already knew where people were going to go. We're all excited because we're assuming we're going to get Durant and some other guy because there's plenty of cap space for it. And now I have absolutely no idea what the hell's going to happen.
I mean, do you still want Durant, or do you want someone that can actually play next year, like Kyrie or Kawhi? I mean, I'm not sure Kawhi is willing to go to New York, but
if Kyrie's going to Brooklyn,
if you're going to substitute Durant with Kawhi and another star, I'm all for it. If Kawhi's dead set on going to LA to the Clippers, which it sounds like that's his first choice,
unless he stays in Toronto,
or he stays in Toronto.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do. It sucks. Him going down, it's almost like we lost we lost in all this too because correct. It sounds like Kyrie might be going to the Nets. I don't even know if he was going to come with Durant in the first place. That I have no idea. Durant was never coming alone, so he's got to come with somebody else. Yeah. So what you have to do is now you have to convince another superstar to come to New York and be like, all right, listen, we're going to sign Durant, but he's not going to be here for a year. So you have to just kind of hang out for a year and, play pickup basketball with these guys. Well, I don't know if you can convince someone to do that.
Yeah. Well,
that's going to be a hard sell.
It's interesting because I also saw the Knicks today declined a trade of the third.
That was the stupidest trade offer. That was ridiculous, and that was an offer in itself. Why? There's absolutely no reason for them to move down. This is a 3-player draft. Zion,
it is, yeah. Okay.
John Morant, and R.J. Barrett. New York should do they can't mess this up.
But
R.J. Barrett.
That same article said the Knicks were targeting a different player.
Stop it. Stop. Dan, this is like the NFL draft. This is the NBA draft's in 2 days. You're going to hear a lot of crap in the next 2 days. A lot of people are trying to switch. This is like the NFL draft all over again. You're trying to put people off the scent. New York should pick R.J. Barrett, and you can't. That's it, and be done. You can't screw this up. It's a 3-player draft, and they have the number 3 pick.
So I asked this to you guys before because it came out today that CP3 and Harden they're clashing, right? So CP3 and Harden basically went to the general manager. This is what I read, and basically said, "Pick one of us, but one of us has got to go. We can't do this." So,
well, they can't trade Paul.
Do the Knicks give what?
They can't trade Chris Paul. He's got an absurd contract, and he has a $30 or $40 million player option in 3 years. So if you trade for Chris Paul in 3 years, you have to pay him $30 million because he's going to opt in.
And he did the same thing with the Clippers. He is not.
He's almost untradeable.
He's not a friendly teammate. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. So, but I know where Bud was going with this. If they were going to offer a James Harden for the number 3 pick, 1,000% you do it. 100% you do it.
See,
It wouldn't be that simple. There'd be more pieces involved, but yeah, you do that.
if Houston keeps Chris Paul and gets rid of the better player and the better teammate in Harden, like.
But Chris Paul is untradeable at this point. No one's going to take on that contract.
Yeah.
So they overpaid for him to begin with.
Can he actually be playing?
Speaking of overpaying for players, so we're obviously talking basketball.
Yeah.
The Lakers basically gave up their entire future for Anthony Davis. And Anthony Davis has never, correct me if I'm wrong, again, I don't know too much about the NBA, has never played a full season.
Right.
He's always injured.
Right.
He's a prima donna. And he has never made any of his teammates better.
That's the knock on him.
And the Lakers gave up 3 of their starting players, essentially. And they gave up the next 4 years of first-round picks.
They could be in a lot of – if the Lakers don't get a title within the next 2 years, they could be in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. Because LeBron's got what?
LeBron's contract? Is it 3 years?
I think he signed 3 years. So I think he's got 2 this year and next year. I think it was a 3-year, Dan. Do you remember?
Yeah, so he's got 2 years to prove his worth in LA. And then I think –
give it 1 season. 1 season. Because he put up with this lost year, right? Davis will be – I hope you guys are still with me. Okay. Davis will be a free agent next summer. If it doesn't work this year, why would they bring him in? Why would they keep him? Because they spent all the money and they gave up all those picks for him?
Well, so here's the interesting that I heard today. If Anthony Davis signs an extension, which he can, he gets X number of dollars. If he waits till next year and becomes a free agent and he re-signs with the Lakers, he can make a ton more money. But then you also run the risk of him. Let's say LeBron gets hurt like Durant did and he's out for the year with some ACL or Achilles. Anthony Davis could be like, screw this, I'm out of here. Then the Lakers are really screwed.
I'll be perfectly honest. The Lakers have been a shit show. I think that's why Magic Johnson jumped away. He left because.
But you know what this is? So this is a direct response to the Toronto Raptors trading for Kawhi. They knew they were renting Kawhi for the year. It just happened to work out, and they won a championship. They still may or may not retain his services, but they brought him a championship. So, mission accomplished in that case. Even if Kawhi leaves, mission accomplished.
Well, and Kawhi made the Spurs better, won them a title, won an NBA Finals MVP with the San Antonio Spurs. He also runs your team. He's not down in the post. It's hard to compare the two because they're completely different style players.
If LeBron doesn't win and is not successful in LA, does this tarnish his legacy?
It has to.
You think so? I mean, it might be a little blimp, but I mean, he's on the back. He's on the back side of his career.
He's easily the top 3 players to ever play basketball, right?
Right. And
but what I'm saying is that you gave up on Cleveland twice, and
you brought a title.
Okay, so what? But then you ran to LA, and you were awful this year, and it was very clear that he couldn't make everybody around him better. And now you're going to bring Anthony Davis in, and then what? And then if you can't win with Anthony Davis,
well, here's the issue with LA. They are super dysfunctional. Luke Walton he just walked away. Their coach, he just walked away because
I thought they fired him.
Fired.
All right. You're right. You're probably right.
He found the job within like 2 days, dude.
Yeah.
I think he went to Sacramento.
So LeBron was in the NBA Finals like 5 years in a row. Now, he didn't win all 8 years in a row.
8.
He didn't win that many of them, but he was in the finals 8 years in a row. Then he misses the playoffs. If the Lakers don't make the Western Conference Finals next year, that's a failure compared to his track record. And I don't know that, but that's probably more of a knock on the Lakers. But if he's stuck there for 3 years and doesn't even peep the finals for 3 straight seasons on the biggest franchise in the history of the game, I mean, he's got to then go to a different team and redeem himself at the end of his career, or all we're going to.
Yeah, but he's only got how many more truly good seasons left, right? He's only got maybe 3.
Yeah, probably 5. Yeah,
maybe. I mean, he's our age, right? He's a year younger than us.
I think he's right around the same age as us.
It's hard to imagine because he's been in the league since he's 17 or 18 years old. So I mean, he's been in the league
No, I think he entered the league when we started college, so I think you're right.
But now the question,
Yeah.
so now the question is, do they even get a third piece? Because it sounds like they're clearing up cap space to make a run at like a Kemba Walker or somebody like that. I don't even know if they're done, but all right, let's say you have Durant, LeBron, AD, and this third person. You got to fill out the rest of the roster. That's
Right.
the problem. They're gonna have no bench.
They only have 3 other players on the roster right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you need you need a bench. If you don't have a bench, you're screwed. That's what really helped Toronto. All those guys on that bench, Van Fleet and Siakam, and all those guys coming off the bench and making huge contributions, helping win that series.
Yeah.
Jeremy Lin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jeremy Lin.
Well,
Jeremy Lin finally got his championship.
Oh, he did. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's how the Clippers have stayed relevant for the last 5 years because they've had a great bench. Like,
Well, there's a lot of people that say if Kawhi goes to the Clippers, that the Clippers might win the NBA title next year.
they were really good this season with Doc Rivers and minus CP3 and Blake Griffin. They were still really good. They got a nice young team. It wouldn't surprise me for them to do that. See, that would hurt LeBron and the Lakers' legacy more than anything. The Clippers getting their first title.
It's going to be extreme. So, like I said, the draft is in 2 days. I mean, we could have a monumental amount of trades and movement and stuff. I mean, this is going to be, again, it's 3-player draft. And after that, all bets are off, I think. I also wonder, couldn't New York move up to number 1? Is that even possible? I don't even know if anyone's even mentioned it. You give them the number 3 and some players, and hell, you move up to number 1. It's probably not going to happen. But
Republicans can't pass on the best player though. Like he's easily ahead of everybody else, right? Zion.
No, right. So, but at this time last year, RJ Barrett was the consensus number 1 overall pick until Zion, leapfrogged onto the map and deservedly so. But this time last year, RJ Barrett was the number 1 consensus number 1 pick in the draft. But obviously, that's why you play the games.
Yeah.
So that's going back to what I was saying before. New York, you can't lose. Just pick them and move on. You don't mess around. That stupid thing with Atlanta, there's no reason to move down. This isn't the NFL. You don't move down to 8 and 10 when you have the number 3 pick. Come on.
And I agree you stash Durant too, because I mean just his presence on the team should
you 100 again. In my opinion, you absolutely sign him. It's just, is there another player that's going to be willing to wait a year until he gets there? I don't know. I don't know who it would be.
So what do you guys all think of Steph Curry now? Because he couldn't keep his team together without those guys. Are we going to find out like what his legacy is going to be without them next season?
You know what? I disagree with you on that. I mean, the team didn't play great, but I mean, he scored 40-something points that one game that he didn't have Clay or Durant, and he had 30-something points the other day. He's still a hell of a player. I mean, the problem is that team is built around, everybody else contributing, and when 2 major people aren't getting there.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's 0 for 9 in last second shots. If anyone heard that stat.
I didn't, but that's what people tend to remember, your clutch performances, right?
Any shot, I think it was, I want to say it was, they showed anything that's 20 seconds or less, he's 0 for 9 in game-winning shots.
We can see the shadow. So what's going on over there?
So we are trying to transition Caitlin into a big girl bed. She is upstairs. She has turned the light on. She is reading a book.
Well, that's nice.
In her rocking chair. You guys can see that? Oh, she's there. She is.
Oh.
Yep. So she is not in bed.
Okay. So that's making
everything that we don't want her to do.
My daughter's not much younger. It doesn't make me want to go that.
How old is she?
2 and like 3 months or 4.
Yeah. So Caitlin will be 3 in August. So
August. Okay. So you got a half a year on her. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Not funny. Yeah.
And Lori, God bless her. She's in there in the living room, talking through the monitor, trying to keep her voice down, not to interrupt us. But I know that she wants to just be like, get in bed.
You got this fancy 2-way radio monitor. I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if we want to keep talking more basketball, maybe we can have a show next week about the NBA draft.
Listen, if something big goes down, we'll have plenty to go over, and then the week after that's NBA free agency. So listen, This is my favorite time of the year for NBA.
Yeah.
This is the best. I love this.
It's exciting for me too, even though I don't really care what happens. But
Rangers preseason schedule came out today.
It's very exciting.
You hoping they turn out like the Blues did?
I hope so. What not for nothing, they hired John Davidson. John Davidson was the one that went into St. Louis and turned them around. He went into Columbus, turned Columbus around, and now he's back with the Rangers because he used to be the broadcaster for the Rangers for all those years. Let's just hope that he knows what he's doing. He certainly seems like he does. They just traded for I forgot the guy's name, but his Winnipeg's number one defenseman today. So,
so what? It was interesting that back in 2004, Boston broke their curse and won the World Series against the Cardinals. Now, fast forward to 2019, St. Louis broke their curse and win the Stanley Cup against Boston.
Yes.
Were
they really cursed? I wasn't familiar.
Well,
I love seeing Brad Marchand just crying on the ice. Handsy bitch he is.
I will say, I'm like Bud when it comes to the NHL. I watch, I follow it, I catch it here and there, but I will always watch the final game of the Stanley Cup because I love that. That is the best trophy in all sports.
Yeah,
I think every championship should be an huge trophy that you need to have two hands to carry. Every trophy should be that big, in my opinion.
It's the greatest trophy in all sports.
I agree.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
Thanks for watching Buzz Chop.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Share.
Woo.